Am I going to be held back by the limitations of waiting for someone else to validate me? I'll be waiting so long. I'll be waiting forever. Not only because why would they validate me, but even if I ask for validation, then I think they're only doing it because I asked. And then, even if in some ideal world I got everyone's validation, I would need it consistently. Because I'd be like, what's the. what's. At what point does this expire? And for me, it expires like almost immediately. I'm like, okay, he liked me an hour ago. He doesn't like me right now. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I know what I'm like. I'm so glad that I know that it'll expire immediately for me, that I want it all the time, that I'm craving it because I've never had it. Because everyone around me has always been like, tough love. You got to learn how bad the world is. So I'm so glad because now that I want to expand me and my life, and now that I want to see how big everything can get, how big can I think, how much can I hold in my heart and in my mind and in my soul, how much, there's no limit, I already know, but where can we go with this? Now that I want that, and this is like a major blockage in the way, this is like a gate that's right here. I haven't even walked like 5 steps and I'm like, whoa, what the hell is this? What's holding me back here? That I'm the only way forward actually is to not care. The only way forward is to release that, is to really be like, wow, I used to be like, I'm not good enough. But I never thought I never looked at someone else and was like, they're not good enough for me. And I was like, that's because I'm inferior. I'm dealing with this thing, right? This weakness. Now that I'm building my worth, even now I'm like, they're not good at, even now after building my worth, I'm not looking at anyone going, this person's not good enough for me. But still, sometimes I feel, oh, I'm not good enough. But most of the time, I'm like, wow, we're equal. And more than that, we're one. And so, if we're equal, it's not about good enough for anything or anyone. Actually, it's about you're enough. And everyone's enough at every point in their lives, even when they're like at their lowest. Because like 10 years ago, I was enough. There's no such thing as like good enough for someone or something. I want to reframe everything. When someone rejects you, when someone rejects me, it's not that I'm not good enough for them or that they're not seeing my value or any of that. We're actually all building our lives outwards. We're decorating the room and we're intentionally selecting pieces to put in certain places. And I'm not a piece that everyone wants to put in their lives because I don't fit the aesthetic or the vibe. That's totally fine. They're going for a different aesthetic. I've never walked into someone else's bedroom going, you're not gonna do the aesthetic I'm doing. I've never walked in and gone, oh, like this sucks because it's different than mine. Never. If anything, I'm like, wow, I want to see all the different ones, and it makes me happier. What I have to really reframe rejection as is their willingness to be creative with building their life. And anytime I reframe anything as creativity, I can never shit on it because I love it. I'm such a pro creativity person. Anything creative, I can't be upset about that anyway. And so if they're rejecting me, to be like, no, I'm sorry, you don't fit my aesthetic. You don't fit what I'm going for right now. It's totally fine. It has nothing to do with me, my value, or even them seeing my value or them having to yearn and regret about it later. It's just, this is like such an old narrative. I so wish there were more rom-coms, because I love them, that showed different narratives. You know, like so many different ones. But it's like, really, even in that art form, we weren't being creative. We're being fed the same thing. And honestly, I love rom-coms because of the tropes, because I can see what's coming, because of the ABC structure of it. It's so familiar, so comforting. But wow, it would have been great to see different forms and versions of love. But I don't know if I've even seen that in real life. I think this is just like, this is what I mean. I want to expand so I can see way more. And to see way more, I have to be able to hold way more without breaking down, without needing validation that I'm still good enough in the face of this new thing. Because it's almost irrelevant, actually. That's what it is. It's like, whether I get the validation or not, this thought itself is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the really larger truth of like witnessing and expanding. Why does it matter if I'm good enough or not? Do you understand what I mean? It really does feel it's almost like, what is it like? Let me think of a really good example. It's like someone going, I'm in love with you. I want to marry you. And they're talking about a really serious, like, feeling they've developed and realized, and it's like true, deep, divine love, and they're talking about it. And you go, wait, but are we gonna get like a blue crock pot for our kitchen or a red one? And he's gonna be like, what? He's gonna be like, what are you talking? Are you listening to me? Do you understand? It's irrelevant. The question that I'm asking is irrelevant, of like, am I good enough? Or are you mad at me? Do you still like me? Are you annoyed with me? It's irrelevant. That's the scale of those two things is equivalent to that example, actually. When life is passing through me and I'm witnessing more and I'm expanding and I'm calling in that expansion, and I want to witness more differences, more of what's not me, and I'm welcoming those people and experiences in, it is something I've called in. When I receive a package at the door that I've bought and purchased and shipped to myself, I don't hold it in my hands and go, but am I deserving and worthy of this? I don't, because I called it in. I didn't even write any of this down. This is happening in live time. Do you remember my first video? Go watch my first video. I was crying because I couldn't even talk. I can write like this. I can write in a way where something new comes out of me. But this is probably the first time. This is genuinely the first time that I felt like I've hit on something while talking about something totally new. I'm talking about something else. You don't need to ask if you're worthy of something you're calling in. And surprise, you're calling in everything. Everything you see in your life, you're calling in anyway. It really does tie into this idea of forgiveness as well, because in rom-coms, when people go, okay, I'll choose to forgive you for whatever, This tired old trope of like these, she's living in remorse and regret, and then she realizes her mistakes, and then she goes running to be like, I'm sorry, and then he goes, I forgive you, and then they're living happily ever after. All of that. I'm like, what is forgiveness then? What is it? Is it that you forget? Is it that you no longer feel emotional? Is it that it's actually, to me, the concept of forgiveness doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is alignment. It's just as simple as like, if you're hurting me, you're not aligned with me, and so I set my boundary to be like, we can't be here in my room. And then, if they return, I can gauge again. Do I want this in my room now? Because me and my room have both changed, and obviously they could have changed. So it's just like a reassessment. I think for me, it also doesn't make sense because I've almost already forgiven everyone like immediately, except for like a few exceptions, which took a little bit longer. But what does forgiveness mean, right? Like when I say I've forgiven everyone immediately, what does it mean? Does it mean I'm no longer angry? Because sometimes I go through cycles of anger, but the anger doesn't mean anything, because anger just means this thing coming up in me where I'm like, I should have stood up for myself, and I didn't, and now it's coming up now because it was repressed. And underneath the anger is heartbreak. And underneath the heartbreak is a self wound that has nothing to do with that person anyway. So I know I'm going too deep into it, but that's really how I think about forgiveness. Because then I'm like, if forgiveness is anger, then sometimes I'll feel angry like 2 years later, but it has nothing to do with that person, because my anger is about me, and I know that. I fully know that. So is forgiveness about, what is it about? I mean, I can stop talking about it, but it's right there. Hold on, it's right there. What's forgiveness? Like changed behavior? No, what's forgiveness? I forgive you. I don't know. And there have been situations in my life where it's called for my forgiveness, and like my relationship with my mom, right? But it's not, I can't fully say I forgive you and understand that, because to me it doesn't sit like that in my body. When I reconnect with someone like my mom, it's almost like it's almost like a new connection. It's not a reconnection, it's a new connection with a new person. We're both new people. We're building a new relationship actually. We're going the old way, didn't work for either of us. Not only that, I know that I won't stand for those things. And someone can hurt me. She can hurt me now in present time, and I'll react differently. But see, where does forgiveness fall into all of this? Because she wasn't that person, I'm not that person. We change so quickly, so frequently, even though sometimes we don't even know we're doing it. Sometimes we change hour to hour, sometimes we change day to day, and it feels like we don't, because sometimes the same triggers and same emotions come up. They're coming up because you're changing so quickly. They're coming up like employees meeting a new CEO. They're like, hey, we're here. And then the CEO decides who to keep and who to let go. That's what it is. That's why they keep coming up actually all the time. And so, yeah, I don't understand forgiveness as a concept. I understand alignment. Because everyone is already forgiven. Because all my emotions are about me. Because my anger is about me, and my heartbreak is about me, and ultimately forgiveness doesn't make sense in the concept of surrendering. Because if you're forgiving, you're admitting that you're uh, holding some semblance of control over the situation or over the other person. But in terms of surrender, it's like you'll do what you'll do and I'll do what I'll do. And we'll keep changing and becoming new. That you can meet the same person 1,000 times in your life and it won't be the same person. And you'll have 1,000 different relationships actually for every time you reconnect, because you'll both be really different. You think you're reconnecting, but you're not. You're connecting with it's a new thing entirely. Everything is out of our hands, even the things we think we hold. Even when we've been wronged. And we like to think that we have the control of forgiveness. It's something that we can provide someone else. It's not. What's in your control is only your feelings and emotions and your thoughts and how you feel about it. But you providing forgiveness to that person or not should theoretically not change their life, because none of us can really provide or hold back on giving someone something. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, really, I think all we really provide is our presence. And yeah. Otherwise it's just like trades of things, It's like almost like a chemical reaction. Like chemicals wouldn't look to each other for forgiveness, for reacting. That's what it is, I think. Like if my version 2.0 met your version 6.0 and there was a bad reaction, it's like we could try again in like 20 years and it'll be my version 81.0 and your version 81.0 and maybe we'll be really great together. I don't know. You know? Or maybe we could try it with other things, but it's like, yeah, it's all about alignment because you can't control anything. Love you.